It was a quiet evening on Earth when the first signs of disaster appeared, unnoticed by almost everyone. The planet seemed calm, as it had for years. No threats, no fears, just the hum of everyday life. People went about their daily routines, completely unaware that their world was about to be torn apart. In the deep corners of space, hidden from human eyes, a fleet of alien ships was moving closer. Their arrival would be swift, and their strike would be unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. For months, strange signals had been detected by Earth's most advanced satellites, but they were dismissed as nothing more than background noise, harmless radiation, perhaps, or cosmic interference. No one realized that these signals were not random. They were a warning, a countdown. But by the time anyone noticed the patterns, it was already too late. The alien fleet had crossed the stars, and Earth was now their target. The first explosion rocked a city in Eastern Europe, and it wasn't like anything humanity had ever seen. It wasn't a missile, nor a bomb, but something much more powerful, a beam of light that tore through the atmosphere, hitting the city squarely. Buildings collapsed like paper, and the ground cracked open in a wave of destruction. The blast was so intense that it sent shockwaves around the globe, knocking out communication networks and power grids. Within minutes, the entire world was plunged into chaos. People had no idea what was happening, only that something had arrived that was beyond their understanding, beyond their control. Military leaders scrambled, trying to make sense of the attack. They immediately turned their focus to space, deploying every satellite, telescope, and radar system they had, but nothing prepared them for what they found. Far above Earth, a fleet of enormous ships loomed. Their shapes were unlike anything human eyes had ever seen, sleek, dark, and shifting in ways that seemed unnatural. They moved as one, coordinated and precise, as if they had planned every step of the attack from the moment they entered Earth's solar system. At first, it seemed like the alien ships were only testing humanity's defenses. They hovered in space, sending down sporadic bursts of energy. But the worst of it had yet to come. Earth's military forces, already on high alert, tried to retaliate with their most advanced weaponry: missiles, fighter jets, and even the newly developed laser defense systems. But every strike failed. It was as if the alien fleet was untouchable. The missiles disintegrated mid-flight. The fighter jets were intercepted by energy fields before they could even get close, and the laser systems did nothing more than blink out of existence. As the world's military forces tried and failed to fight back, Earth's leaders came together in a desperate attempt to figure out how to defend their planet. But no one had an answer. The aliens were too advanced. The weapons they used were unlike anything humanity had ever seen, and their ships seemed invulnerable. It was clear. Humanity was not prepared for this. There was no strategy, no defense plan that could counter the attack. The invaders had planned this carefully, and Earth was simply outmatched. In the midst of this chaos, panic began to spread. People in cities around the world fled in every direction. Governments collapsed as communication systems failed. The human race, once so proud of its achievements, was now in the midst of an existential crisis. How could humanity fight back against an enemy that was so far beyond them? How could they survive when their best technology and brightest minds had already failed? But in the midst of this despair, a small group of scientists, engineers, and military experts worked in secret, trying to understand the alien technology. They weren't the top leaders or generals, but a small forgotten group of people who had been working on experimental technologies for years. It was these individuals who first realized something important, something that would change everything. The alien technology wasn't just different, it was flawed. The flaw wasn't something obvious. It wasn't a weakness in their ships or weapons, nor was it a crack in their defenses. It was in their thinking. The aliens had assumed that humanity would never fight back. They had underestimated humans' resilience, their drive to survive. While the rest of the world was in chaos, this small group of survivors began to piece together the truth. They might have a chance. If they could discover how to fight back, how to exploit the one weakness the aliens had made. Maybe, just maybe, they could save Earth. But the question remained, could they do it in time? The alien fleet was already wreaking havoc, and the world was running out of time. Cities were falling, and people were dying. Each passing minute brought more destruction, and the survivors knew they had to act fast. The aliens had come with overwhelming power, but what they didn't know was that humanity had something the aliens could never have predicted: the will to survive. It was a strength that had driven humans to explore space, to push past every obstacle that had ever been placed in their path. It was the one thing the aliens could never have understood, and it was the one thing that might turn the tide of the war. As the alien fleet closed in on Earth's last remaining defenses, the survivors knew they were running out of time. They had one shot to stop the invasion. Would they succeed, or would humanity be wiped out, forgotten in the vastness of space? The answer would soon be revealed, but for now, all they could do was prepare for the impossible. The days that followed the first devastating wave of alien attacks were filled with confusion, fear, and a sense of impending doom. Earth's major cities lay in ruins, communication lines were down, and the military forces were scrambling to regroup and launch counterattacks, none of which had been successful. As the world's governments fractured, trying to make sense of the impossible invasion, the small group of scientists and military experts who had discovered the flaw in the alien fleet's strategy grew more desperate by the hour. Hidden beneath the remains of a shattered military base, this group worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of the alien technology they had captured. They had one crucial piece of evidence: an alien ship that had been brought down during the first assault. It was damaged beyond repair, but the data it contained could be the key to understanding how to fight back. However, it was no simple task. The alien ship's technology was so advanced that even Earth's brightest minds struggled to comprehend its inner workings. But they had no choice. Humanity's survival depended on it. Dr. Elena Mercer, a leading scientist in the group, was the first to make a breakthrough. She was staring at a complex alien interface when she noticed something unusual. It wasn't a flaw in the ship's technology, but rather a pattern in its energy field. The aliens had built their ships to be nearly indestructible, but the energy shields they used were linked to an internal power core that had to be calibrated to specific frequencies. If they could find the right frequency to disrupt the shields, they could disable the ships. However, there was a problem. The technology was unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Even with their most advanced tools, they couldn't directly interface with the alien systems. Their equipment wasn't built to read alien signals. It was a frustrating realization, but one that didn't completely crush their hopes. The team realized that to reverse engineer the alien tech, they would need something even more advanced. They needed the Ark. The Ark was an abandoned piece of military technology, a massive satellite defense system originally built to protect Earth from asteroids and space debris. But in the wake of earlier technological advancements, the Ark had been decommissioned and forgotten. No one thought it would ever be necessary again. But now, with Earth facing extinction, the Ark might be the only hope. Its artificial intelligence and weapons systems were the most advanced humanity had ever created, and the team believed that if they could bring it online, it could help them decipher the alien frequency and reverse the invasion. The decision was made. The group set out to find the Ark, which had been hidden deep underground in an old military facility in a remote part of the world. The journey was treacherous. With alien ships patrolling the skies and the world in chaos, every step forward felt like a gamble. Yet, with little choice, they pressed on. As they reached the entrance to the facility, they were greeted by an eerie silence. The base had been abandoned for years, but the Ark's systems were still intact. Inside the control room, the survivors found what they were looking for: an ancient console, long dormant but still capable of being activated. The process wasn't easy, and the hours stretched on as they carefully brought the Ark's AI online. The tension in the room was palpable as the AI began to hum back to life, its cold voice filling the room. "System reboot complete. Welcome, Earth Command." The AI's voice was calm, but there was a strange sense of urgency to its tone, as if it was aware of the dire situation. The survivors quickly relayed their findings about the alien technology, and the Ark's AI began to analyze the data. It didn't take long for it to confirm what they had feared. The aliens were far more powerful than they had imagined, but the weakness they had uncovered in their shields was real. The Ark could help them break through those defenses, if they could get close enough. But the time for preparation was running out. The alien fleet was only hours away from reaching Earth's remaining cities. The survivors, now armed with this critical knowledge, returned to the command center, where the world's remaining military leaders had gathered. They had a plan. They would use the Ark's technology to launch a coordinated attack against the alien fleet's shields, disrupting their energy systems long enough for humanity's remaining military forces to strike. It was a risky move. If the Ark's technology didn't work, Earth would face total annihilation. But the group had no other choice. The alien ships, still hovering high above, were waiting for Earth's final defenses to crumble. The countdown had begun. As the world's military forces gathered their remaining strength, they looked to the skies with uncertainty. The alien fleet was massive, too massive for Earth to defeat on its own. But now, with the Ark's technology, they had a glimmer of hope. The group of survivors had uncovered the one weakness in the alien force, and now it was up to humanity to exploit it. The first shot from Earth's defense systems was fired. It missed, but it was a signal. The aliens noticed the attempt, their ship's shields rippling as they adjusted to the new threat. The second shot, however, found its mark. The energy field surrounding one of the alien ships flickered and then collapsed entirely. The ship was exposed, vulnerable. The battle had begun. But this was only the beginning. The alien fleet wasn't about to go down without a fight. They retaliated with all the fury of an unstoppable force, launching missiles and energy blasts toward Earth's military bases. The survivors watched as their weapons systems engaged the alien fleet. The Ark's technology had given them an advantage, but they still had a long way to go. Every moment counted as the battle for Earth raged on. In the midst of the chaos, the survivors could feel the weight of the world pressing down on them. Their plan had worked, but the real fight had just begun. Earth had held on longer than anyone thought possible, and now, with the Ark's technology, they had a fighting chance. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and in that mistake, Earth had found its strength. But the real question remained. Would humanity's hope be enough to turn the tide, or would the alien fleet overwhelm them before they could finish the fight? The answer lay in the hours ahead, and no one could say for sure whether Earth's victory would come at the cost of everything they had left. The battle was now fully underway, and humanity had just begun to scratch the surface of its true potential. As alien ships rained down fire on Earth's cities, the survivors knew that time was running out. The Ark's technology had given them a fighting chance, but it was clear that the alien fleet, now angered and alert, wasn't going to make the fight easy. The human military, armed with newly understood alien weaknesses, launched wave after wave of attacks, hoping to find a way to exploit the aliens' one vulnerability: their shield frequency. However, as the survivors worked feverishly to refine their strategy, something unexpected happened. The aliens seemed to adapt, quickly countering the human tactics. The initial shock of the attacks had weakened the alien fleet's resolve, but now they were more determined than ever. Their ships shifted their positions, changing patterns in their shields and weaponry to counteract Earth's defense systems. It was as if they had anticipated that humans might one day figure out their weakness. At the heart of the military strategy was a small, battle-worn group of elite soldiers who had been tasked with launching a dangerous mission: infiltrate one of the remaining intact alien ships and plant a virus into their central system. This was humanity's last chance to turn the tide for good. If they could gain access to the mothership's command center and upload the virus, it would disable the entire alien fleet by infecting their communication systems, rendering them powerless. Captain James Carter, a seasoned military leader who had seen countless battles in his time, was chosen to lead this mission. He was part of the group who had discovered the Ark's weakness in the alien tech, and now he was tasked with taking this fight directly to the invaders' front lines. The plan was risky, even by military standards. Getting close to the alien ships was nearly impossible without being detected, and the ship's advanced energy shields made any approach hazardous. But for Carter and his team, there was no other option. As the military forces engaged the enemy in full force, Carter's small squad slipped past the battlefront. They were equipped with stealth technology designed to evade alien detection, but it was still a race against time. Every minute they spent in the open was a minute closer to being discovered, and their mission depended on getting inside the alien mothership without alerting the rest of the fleet. The journey was harrowing. The squad traveled under the cover of the ongoing conflict, using the chaos of the battle to mask their approach. But even with the element of surprise on their side, the sheer scale and power of the alien ships made it difficult to get anywhere near them. As they neared the mothership's docking bay, their stealth systems began to falter. Alien sentries, biomechanical beings, seemingly part machine, part organic, patrolled the area, scanning the surroundings with intense precision. One mistake, one slip-up, and the mission would be compromised. Captain Carter and his team moved like shadows, careful and silent. They found an opening just wide enough to slip through, an airlock on the side of the mothership that hadn't been completely sealed. Inside, the environment was unlike anything they had ever seen. The ship's interior was cold, sterile, and foreign. An alien ecosystem of dark metallic corridors lit by dim, pulsating lights. The walls seemed to breathe, shifting and changing as if the ship itself were alive. The further they ventured, the more they could feel the oppressive presence of the alien intelligence that controlled it. They made their way deeper into the heart of the mothership, avoiding security systems and cutting through the alien tech with their makeshift tools. Each step felt like a countdown to disaster, the threat of discovery always looming. Finally, they'd reached the central command hub, the brain of the entire alien fleet. This was where their virus would have to be uploaded to disable the alien fleet's communication and control systems. As they prepared to install the virus, a strange thing happened. The ship seemed to react. The walls began to vibrate as a low hum filled the air. The team paused, unsure of what was happening. Captain Carter's instincts kicked in. Something was wrong. The aliens had detected their presence. "Move, move, move," Carter shouted, and the team quickly began the virus upload. But as the data transferred, they saw the horrifying truth. The aliens weren't just attacking Earth. They were already preparing for something far worse. A secondary fleet, much larger than the first, was on its way. And this time, they weren't just coming for Earth. They were coming to wipe out humanity completely. The mission had just taken on a whole new urgency. The virus had to upload, and it had to be successful, or the entire human race would be obliterated. They had no time to lose. But as the virus began to spread through the alien systems, the security measures intensified. The walls around them seemed to come alive, responding to the intrusion. Alien drones appeared, their glowing eyes scanning the area for intruders. The team fought to buy enough time to finish the upload. They used everything they had: lasers, explosives, and their advanced tactics. It was a battle of survival against an enemy that seemed to be everywhere. But as the virus reached the core systems of the mothership, something unexpected happened. The alien fleet's shields flickered, just for a moment. But that was enough. A single burst of energy shot from the mothership, and the alien ships, all at once, went silent. The virus had worked. The aliens' communication systems had been disrupted, and their fleet was paralyzed. But victory was short-lived. Just as Carter and his team thought they had completed their mission, a chilling voice echoed through the ship's communication system. It wasn't the voice of an alien commander, but a strange mechanical sound, like the ship itself was speaking. "You have only delayed the inevitable, humans. The true war is only just beginning. The voice seemed to come from everywhere, reverberating throughout the mothership. The survivors knew they had won a battle, but the war was far from over. The alien fleet was down, but only temporarily. The aliens had underestimated humanity before, but now they knew the full extent of human resolve. The true fight, the one that would determine the future of the human race, was still ahead, and humanity would fight with everything it had left. The victorious silence that followed the defeat of the alien fleet was short-lived. The entire human race held its collective breath, waiting for confirmation that Earth had, indeed, won. The alien ships were crippled, their communications silenced, and their once impenetrable shields shattered. Humanity had pulled off the impossible, but something felt off. The weight of the message that had echoed across the alien mothership still hung in the air, like a dark shadow. The true war is only just beginning. In the days that followed, Earth's military leaders, scientists, and politicians tried to make sense of the victory. Were they safe? Had they destroyed the alien threat for good? Or had they just opened a door to something far more terrifying? Captain James Carter, the leader of the mission that had infiltrated the alien mothership, couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was coming. He had seen it firsthand, the eerie, mechanical voice that had warned them, and he knew that Earth's success had been too easy. The aliens had underestimated humans once, but they hadn't expected this. Carter wasn't sure what the aliens had meant by the true war, but he wasn't about to sit back and wait for answers. Meanwhile, the group of survivors who had cracked the alien fleet's weakness worked tirelessly to study the alien data they had obtained. Dr. Elena Mercer, the scientist who had been instrumental in deciphering the alien technology, was the first to uncover something unsettling. The virus they had uploaded into the alien systems had been more than just a way to disable their communication network. It had triggered something deep within the alien infrastructure. The data revealed that the aliens were part of a much larger, far-reaching empire. Their fleet was only a small piece of a vast, intergalactic force, one that spanned entire galaxies and had dominated countless civilizations for eons. The mothership they had infiltrated, it was just one of many. The real heart of the alien empire was far beyond Earth's reach. The true war had already begun. Earth was no longer just a random target in the galaxy. It was a symbol, a challenge, a sign of humanity's potential to fight back. And now, the aliens were coming to finish what they had started. The first signs of this new wave of conflict came within weeks. What appeared to be random sightings in space turned out to be the tip of the iceberg. Entire fleets of alien ships, unlike any the humans had encountered before, began to appear just beyond the edge of the solar system. They weren't here to negotiate. They weren't here for diplomacy. They were here to wipe humanity out, to make an example of Earth. News reports from around the world flashed images of gigantic alien warships, far larger than the ones humanity had previously encountered, emerging from the depths of space. Their technology was more advanced, their weaponry far more deadly. These ships weren't just flying fortresses. They were mobile, intelligent, and they moved with ruthless precision. Their shields were far more complex than anything the humans had faced before, and their weapon systems were almost impossible to counter. The alien message was clear. You have only delayed the inevitable, humans. We are coming. A cold, horrifying realization spread across Earth. The first wave of invasion had been a test, an experiment to see how humans would respond to their power. The aliens had wanted to gauge humanity's resolve, to see if Earth would surrender quietly or if it would fight back. And now they had their answer. Humanity was not going to back down. With this knowledge, Earth's leaders went into overdrive, realizing that they had only a small window of time to prepare for the coming onslaught. The Ark, Earth's last hope, had bought them precious time, but it was not enough. The technology that had been developed and reverse-engineered from the alien fleet could only do so much. The new alien ships were far beyond anything they had encountered. If humanity was going to survive, they needed a new plan. But there was another issue. The first alien fleet had been destroyed, yes, but the cost was high. Entire cities were leveled, and millions of lives were lost in the chaos. Earth's infrastructure was damaged beyond repair in many places, and the global economy was teetering on the edge of collapse. The military forces that had managed to fight back were exhausted and disorganized. The survivors, now scattered across the globe, had no central command, no unity. The aliens knew this. They had been watching, calculating, and they were prepared to strike at humanity's weakest points. Captain Carter, who had witnessed the true horror of the alien fleet firsthand, was called to the front lines once again. This time, however, the stakes were higher than ever. There were no more backup plans, no more strategies. Earth's defenses were a patchwork of last-minute solutions, and Carter knew they had only one chance to make this work. He couldn't afford to fail. Carter gathered a team of the best soldiers, scientists, and engineers, those who had fought through the initial wave and those who had worked tirelessly on the alien technology. Together, they began to formulate a plan. They couldn't rely on the Ark forever. Instead, they would need to push the alien technology to its limits and beyond. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their advance. It wasn't just their warships that humanity had to fear. The invaders had biological forces, troops that could infiltrate and take control of human cities, spread diseases, and weaken resistance from within. This new form of warfare was unlike anything Earth had faced before. The first alien warships had been a brutal show of force, but now they were playing a long game, one that Earth wasn't prepared for. But humanity wasn't going to give up. They had already proven that against all odds, they could survive. They had shown the alien invaders that humans were not easily defeated. And now, with time running out, the true test of their will had come. Earth's last defense was no longer just technology or strategy. It was their unity, their spirit to fight for their survival. Captain Carter stood on the edge of Earth's last fortified command center, looking out over the horizon as the new alien fleet grew closer. The time for hope and preparation had passed. Now, the time for war had arrived. The true war. And this time, humanity would not back down. In the distance, the first alien ships began to break through Earth's outer defenses, sending shockwaves through the air. The battle for humanity's survival had reached its climax. Earth's final stand had begun. And it would be humanity's greatest test yet. The skies over Earth were ablaze with fire as the full force of the alien fleet descended upon the planet. The first wave of invasion had left the world scared and devastated, but humanity had fought back. And now, they were facing an even greater challenge. The alien fleet that had come to finish what they started was unlike anything the humans had ever imagined. Their warships were colossal, far more advanced than anything humanity had encountered. The Ark's technology, which had been humanity's trump card in the first battle, was now obsolete in the face of this new overwhelming threat. Earth's military leaders scrambled to adapt, but the clock was ticking. Every second counted. Captain James Carter stood at the command center, his face grim as he watched the alien fleet approach. The streets of the world's largest cities were empty now, abandoned by civilians who had fled to underground bunkers or remote regions of the Earth. The world was in chaos. But one thing was clear. Humanity was not going to surrender. Not now, not ever. The Ark's technology had given Earth a fighting chance, but Carter knew it wouldn't be enough this time. The new alien ships were equipped with shields that Earth's weapons couldn't penetrate. Their weapons were capable of obliterating entire cities in a single blast. Yet Carter was not ready to give up. He'd seen what humanity could do when pushed to the edge, and he had faith that they could pull through once again. He had seen the bravery of Earth's soldiers, the ingenuity of its scientists, and the resilience of its people. This was their moment. They had to act now, or face extinction. The global military network began its final preparations. A fleet of human ships, the last remnants of Earth's military might, was assembled and sent out to engage the alien forces head-on. Carter and his team were tasked with a critical mission: to infiltrate the heart of the alien fleet and plant a new virus, one that would disrupt the alien warship systems for good. It was a suicide mission, but it was humanity's only shot at survival. The team was small, just a handful of soldiers and scientists, but they carried with them the hopes of the entire planet. They boarded a specially modified vessel, one designed to slip through the alien fleet's defenses. As they left the safety of Earth's atmosphere and entered the void of space, the tension was palpable. The enemy ships loomed in the distance, their massive shapes blocking out the stars. For a moment, it felt as if the entire universe had fallen silent, waiting to see who would survive. Inside the alien ships, the crew knew they were being watched. The alien warships, alive with intelligent, malevolent force, seemed to pulse and thrum as if they were aware of every move Earth's ships made. The small human fleet approached cautiously, weaving through debris and broken spacecraft remnants, trying to avoid detection. Their stealth technology allowed them to remain undetected for now, but it wouldn't last forever. They needed to get close to the alien flagship, the central hub of the fleet, and deliver the virus that would bring it all crashing down. The journey felt like an eternity. As they drew closer to the alien flagship, the team could see the alien ship's full scale. Their structures were impossibly intricate, vast arrays of energy weapons and shield generators. Earth's military had no chance of defeating them with brute force alone. They needed to be smarter, faster, and more cunning than ever before. But then, disaster struck. One of the stealth ships, just minutes away from the flagship, was detected by the alien fleet's advanced sensors. A blinding flash of light erupted as the ship was struck by a pulse of energy, disintegrating into space dust. The remaining ships scrambled to evade the incoming alien fire, but the damage had been done. The alarm went out across the fleet, and the alien ships began to converge on Earth's remaining forces. Captain Carter's vessel was now a target, its mission compromised. They had no choice but to move forward, fighting their way through the enemy to complete their task. With the alien fleet closing in, they launched a barrage of decoy missiles, buying themselves just enough time to get close to the flagship. As their ship's shields flickered under the alien fire, Carter and his team boarded an alien shuttle and prepared for the final assault. Inside the alien flagship, the corridors were silent and unnerving. The walls pulsed with a strange, organic energy, and the air seemed thick with the weight of 1,000 unspoken threats. The team moved quickly, navigating through the labyrinthine halls, making their way to the heart of the ship's core. But the aliens had already anticipated their actions. The moment they entered the main control room, the doors slammed shut, and the room was bathed in a cold, metallic light. The aliens' counterattack was swift. Massive biomechanical sentries, towering over 10 feet tall, emerged from the walls, their mechanical limbs clicking with precision as they moved toward the intruders. Carter's team fought desperately, but the alien warriors were too powerful, too fast. The humans had only one chance to make this mission a success. They had to get the virus uploaded to the mainframe before they were all killed. Dr. Elena Mercer, the scientist who had cracked the alien technology's secrets, was the key. She had spent weeks studying the alien systems, reverse engineering their code. Now, with the aliens closing in, she worked furiously at the console, plugging in data and rerouting power systems to create a pathway for the virus. Each keystroke was a gamble, but it was their only chance. With a final push, the virus was successfully uploaded. The alien mothership's systems began to flicker, its shields going down as energy flows were disrupted. The alien command center was thrown into chaos as the invaders realized they were losing control of their fleet. The time for their invasion had passed. Earth had won. But it wasn't over yet. The moment the virus activated, a massive shockwave rippled through the alien fleet. Ships began to implode, their core systems collapsing. But then, from the far reaches of space, something far more terrifying appeared. It wasn't a ship. It was a massive war station, the size of a moon. The true alien fleet was coming, and it was more advanced, more deadly than anything humanity had ever faced. The survivors had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Humanity had one last chance to prepare for what was to come. With Earth's defenses crippled and the true alien armada on its way, it was up to the surviving humans to rally their forces and fight once again. This was no longer just a battle for Earth. It was a fight for the future of the human race. And this time, there would be no second chances.